Hi everyone. So for today, we'll be going through our advanced consolidation exercise. Yeah, and this exercise, what it entails, it aims for you as a young developer, as a young robotic developer, to fix a process which utilizes um, an application called BP Travel with data provided from an input file, and the input file is our Excel file we'll be working with. Yes. This line says you are inheriting this process from another developer who has unfortunately been moved onto another project before it could be completed. It means that the developer started working on a process, but due to one thing or the other, he was not able to complete it, and maybe peradventure he left the company. So your job as a young developer is to ensure that that process which he worked on is resilient, robust enough to be functional. Yes. So that is what we are trying to achieve from this advanced consolidation exercise of Blue Prism. Yeah. So in general, in summary, we are trying to automate a process such that we'll be able to log into their portal and and pass in um, certain data, certain data for some for 50 passengers, and also to book their flight tickets and provide a quote for every data we passed into the process. Yes, so that is what is expected of us to do in this exercise. So not wasting our time, because I don't want to use more than 20 minutes for this video. Okay, so this is our object studio. In this object studio, that is where we verify the basic configuration. Yeah, this is our application modeler. This application modeler is where we would be able to spy every element and attributes needed for our application to be functional. Yeah, here's where we'll launch the web application we are working with. Okay, yeah, and also when we've launched it, we can also verify the elements that we spied, if they are correct or not. If they are not correct, you could configure them to suit what we need. Now, input username, we are talking about this box, input username box. We have to be sure that it is correctly spied, and as you can see, it's correctly spied. But in the case whereby yours is not correctly spied, you have to do it such a way you identify. Then you would press Control and left click, and it automatically captures the box we need. Yeah, for best practices, you untick those attributes that does not have any value, such as web access key. Will untick it. Then you can tick match index and you highlight it. Then we are good to go. You do the same thing for your input password. That's for this box where our password will be passed in. You could identify using the same format I just said a few minutes ago. Control left click, and it's automatically capture the elements of that box for the password. Then you uncheck and you add match index. You highlight. You are good to go. The same thing with our button login box. This is the button login box. You do the same thing. You identify. Okay, and you check. Are we cool? You can take off this and you highlight. Very seamless. Okay. Yes, but that's not the aim of this. That's not what I aim to achieve in this video. What I aim to achieve in this video is to let you know that after those things have been spied, we have to make our process to be functional. Yeah, so when they're spied, you'd pass them down into this action box and configure the respective actions. Okay, here in your launch URL, make sure you pass in the correct URL for your login, and also put the right exception and the right wait stages. Okay, so yeah, configure your attached page. Yeah, so you configure your attached. Sorry about that. So you configure your attached page. You can also configure your left menu page. Yeah. So on also you configure your terminate page. We'll configure our view booking. Okay. Yeah. So you see that this navigation stage, it's a box where we would, after we've spied the view booking elements of in our web application, would let me show you. You would pass the element down into this box, click, and they are good to go. So that's all. That's what we'll do in our Object Studio, so that we'll be able to see them in our basic process. Okay. And not to forget, we have three for this exercise, we have three independent objects, business actions opened. So you'd configure them respectively. This is for the login, where we'll pass our username and password. Okay, make sure you configure the right login, the right width stage for the login button, because when you've clicked login, yeah, our robot has to wait for it to log in successfully before it can go to the next page we are instructing it to go. Yeah, that's why it's good to configure the right wait stage for every actions we do. Okay, so that's for that. And I think this is the last one, which is the create quote. So here is our create quote object, where you're going to perform the actions that are needed for you to successfully book the flight ticket for the 50 passengers. Okay, so make sure you go through all of these and ensure you add the right wait stage, ensure the right elements are being selected, and the right configurations are being done for every actions here. Okay, so yeah, so that is it. Okay, so um so this is our process as per se. We'll just get to it, and this is a proof that your process is 100% functional. So let us start our process. I love, for surface automation, I think I like running my process side by side, such that I could be seeing whatsoever I'm doing alongside with the operations that are happening in the process. So I could know where, if I'm having any issues, I could be seeing, okay, this is the possible area that the issues is coming from. Okay, yeah, so this is it. Right now my robot is trying to populate my queue, because I'll be working with the work queue. So it's going to pass the 50 items from my Excel into the work queue, and that is what is happening right now. Is adding those items to the work queue. Okay, so there are 50 of them, and this is a loop. So because of time, I will not be able to wait for the 50. So I'll just make it to be very fast. In 1 minute or 1 second, is done, and that's all. Yes, that's the beauty of robotics. So now let's continue our process. Now it's getting next item. It's getting the next item. How do I know it's getting the next item? Now let me show you how our work queue look like. Yeah, So this is the work queue. It shows that 50 items has been added to the queue, and locked means that this the robot has picked up a random first item because it's working with an operation called FIFO, first in first out. So the robot has picked up the first item and it has locked it, meaning it is now about to work on this item. It has locked. Then when it has finished working on this item, it either marks it as successful or it marks it as an exception, meaning maybe one or two errors could happen along the way. It could be a data issue, a business exception, or a system exception. It depends on what the exception cost could be. Okay, so now it has gone to the bot has clicked the create quote page. Here it's trying to navigate through the create quote page. It's checking if the email is valid. Yeah, so down here you see every object is happening very fast, and we are done. It has already populated the item it picked up from the queue down to the page, and it's going to mark this as completed. As you can see, it's marking as complete. So if we go back to our work queue, we would see that it has marked that item as completed. Let me show you. So this item that has been locked, when you refresh, you see that it has marked the item as completed. It shows that the bot has successfully done what we asked it to do. Okay, so uh okay, let me step through so that you could see what's happening in my objects. So this is it. Here is it's going to click. It's going to click on this create quote now. It's going to click on this create quote now. Yeah. So this is it. It has clicked on it. Okay. So it's going to reset. So now it's going to go and get the next item from the queue. With since we are done with the first one, it's going to go get the next item from the queue. Has it gotten it? Yes. So now let us confirm what we just said. Yeah, so you see that the second item has been gotten, and this is what it's going to work on. So that is how it's going to continue till it works on the 50 items. And mind you, some of the items is going to get intentionally has some wrong data, which you will see how exception handling works in this process by our bots. Okay, so um, so here is navigating to the create quotes page where we are trying to perform the second actions for the second data items from our Excel. And this is it. So we'll just watch about 4 or 5 to run as expected, and this is it populating immediately. So that's the beauty of automation. All these actions that are repetitive or mundane can be um, automated. So that's the beauty of RPA, robotic process automation. It makes activities seamless. Yeah, so if you see 450, it's going to get the third item because it has finished working on the second item. So that's what it continued doing till it gets to the 50th item. So this is what our advanced consolidation exercise expect us to do. You must be able to check out every element to ensure they are correctly spied, correct data are correctly passed, good exception handling for both system errors and both business exceptions. Yeah, business exceptions in the sense that if um if it has to relate with your data, maybe a wrong date, maybe a wrong date format, all those things are business exceptions. System exceptions means if it has to do with your maybe your network, your system, and many more. So all those are system errors. Okay, that's just the overview. So um, I think I let me see how many. So we could see on our queue, 3 has been completed successfully, and it goes on and on till you get to the 50th. Okay, so I want to put a breakpoint here so that when it comes back to the um okay, let me stop at the fifth one. Let's see the fourth and the fifth actions. So that's the beauty of bot. You just sit down and relax and watch your bot performs the activities you instructed it to perform. Okay, so while configuring your bot, you have to make sure your bot is resilient enough to handle error so that it would not crash. For example, if there's an error, they must have a good error handling mechanism. Yeah, you have to ensure that your process is very robust. It should be shock proof, so that shows that no matter what happens to your bot, could be able to withstand and continue running. Okay, yeah, I would love to see an exception handling mechanism that happens in this process, so that when there is no flight available on a certain date, what should my bot do? You would see that it will throw up an exception and it would not stop. It will continue running the rest of my um, data. Okay, so that's a very good way to design your exception handling mechanism for okay, for example, look at this one now. No flights, these destinations are available. This is an exception because my bot cannot create quotes which I instructed it to create since there is no flight for these details. There's no flight available for this destination at this time. So it will mark it as an exception. Okay, and I want my system to log out and it's going to log in to restart another process. That's what it's going to do for me. So in robotics, there is no defined way to design your process, yeah. But provided it's at least 80% efficient, yeah, I think that is enough. That is cool. Okay. Yeah, so this is it, launching in and logging in to perform the next um process. So let me quickly pause it and show you um the exception that was thrown, so that you have an idea of what exception is all about. So you see, this is a flag. On my fifth item, it was marked as an exception. Now, what is the exception message? There is no flight to this destination. So this exception would be handled manually. Okay, since there is no flight, the Blue Prism developer has to contact the team responsible for data supply to let them know that there is no flight available for so XYZ date, and they will treat accordingly. Okay, so I think after this last flow, this will be we'll stop this process since we can wait till the 50th. But at least I'm sure I'm able to pass across for the advanced consolidation exercise in Blue Prism entails, what is expecting us to do. You have to make your process to be highly functional, robust, and resilient enough. Okay, so that it would not crash along the way. Yeah. So this is it. This is the sixth item. The passenger is going from Liverpool to Austria, and our bot is able to do exactly what we told it to do. And this is the cost, 191 pounds. It's marking as complete. Okay. So let me just show you the sixth one. So we'll be on the same pace. So this is the sixth one. So it goes on and you'll see from our quote requests, uh, it worked on 5, and 5 was an exception. That's the refer. That's this, and 44 is yet to be worked on. Okay, so that's just the beauty of RPA, the beauty of robotics. It's it can automate a lot of mundane processes, and it makes it very efficient, error free. Okay, and that's all. So guys, if you enjoyed this video, please do subscribe to my channel, and please give a thumbs up. Okay, thank you very much, and I really appreciate